John Turik.
Okay.
And
Where do you live?
1699 Trinidad
Okay.
Avenue
In where?
in Florida.
Deltona?
Deltona, Florida.
Okay. What's the zip code down here?
2572.
25.
2572. Oh, no, that isn't it.
Well, not critical. And what's your phone number?
789 3606.
Okay.
It's of course 907. I think it's
907? 904?
904.
Area code. Okay. And John, when did you start working at Oldsmobile?
In 35.
Okay.
In February 15th.
February 15th, 1935.
Yeah.
What did you start doing?
Well, the first, you know, it was kind of hard to get in at that time.
Yeah, you were right in the middle of the Depression, weren't you?
Yeah, just getting over it.
Mhm.
And beginning of the frame line.
Car assembly.
Yeah, car assembly. They used to have there was no many. It was everything, practically everything done by hand. You know.
All right.
They would bring in the frame hanging on the a rail, you know, on chains and trolleys,
Okay.
and then they push from one
It was hand
station.
push?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. Okay.
And then they, you know, some had on the bottom to do something to do. I was starting in, put the gas tank in, you know,
Okay.
straps, turn the couple bolts on,
Uh-huh.
and it was kind of hard
Okay.
because some threads are good and then others are pretty hard. So
Did you
Fingers
use
up pretty-
all with your hands?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Did you use wrenches?
Well, that was done somewhere down
Further on?
Yeah, they
Okay.
just put as a matter of fact, somebody else put the gas tank in.
Oh.
All I do is put a couple straps and tighten a couple knots.
Okay. Where was
And-
the frame line at that time?
Well, let's see, building 20.
Okay.
That's a little short rail, you know, they had about 60, 70 feet of it, you know.
All right.
Then from there, they had the pipe railing, where of course, the frame, they put them on these pipe rails.
Okay.
And then do operation in there. I actually started on tightening the U-bolts, tightening the axle to the leaf springs.
Oh yes. Uh-huh.
And it was kind of difficult at first. Naturally, then after you work a while, it becomes a second nature.
Get
you
to
know.
be pretty good at it.
Yeah, yeah. As a matter of fact, of course, at that time, I think we were doing about 30 an hour or something like that.
Okay.
Then from there, they transferred on to the automatic chain-driven thing, and as it goes on the line, each one has got.
Was that a flat top? Did it have the wheels on it at that point when it transferred, or was it just the frame?
Just the frame till the wheels were tires and wheels were put on about first section of 20, somewhere around there.
All right.
And then they had monorail tires come in and wheels and stuff like that. Well, what we were doing right there, of course, I was tightening the U-bolts, and another guy on the other side, you know, was two of us. And then they
Now,
put on.
were you using hand wrenches or air wrenches there?
Well, it was air wrenches.
You were
then,
using air wrenches.
It was all night work, you know. A lot of times you kind of go to sleep and you hold that dugout thing. Clutch won't work, you know. Give you bang you out of the head to wake you up. And so that was, let's see, I worked from February, I guess, till that completed that year.
The model year?
Model year.
Okay.
And then come back, and then by that time when we came back.
Did you get laid off? Is that what happened then?
Yeah, in January. Yeah.
Okay.
And when we came back, as a matter of fact, when during the model change, they took over the parts and service. They had building 78 and
Okay.
20,
Yeah.
21.
That was parts and service were in there?
Oh yeah,
What
building 77.
Yeah.
They had all of that all the way to Logan Street, I guess.
Oh, the plating plant was not in there?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
What did the parts and service do? What did they do in there?
Well,
was it just storage?
Storage and wrapping and
Okay.
shipping and.
But it
all
wasn't
that.
making service parts. They weren't
No,
making
no,
any.
no, just servicing the.
Yeah.
And yeah, they they had the building 21, 77, and 26.
Mm-hmm.
26, of course, they had 3 floors over
Yes.
there. They were working on bodies, sending them, you know.
In 26?
In 26 on the 2nd floor.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they had all these nice waterproof floor, you know,
Uh-huh.
where they.
Did you get up there, John, to see those guys doing their thing?
No, they. We were, you know, we weren't allowed to roam
Couldn't
around
run.
the plant.
Yeah.
And,
See, John, back to the frame line just a minute. Which, did that run north or south?
let's see, south.
It ran south.
Yeah. Started from this piece of monorail that I was telling you
Yeah.
about, then put on
The cross
the pipe rail.
pipe
you know.
rail, yeah.
Then from there they had transferred on this automatic
Okay, and the
conveyor.
automatic one went south.
Yeah, all the way.
Okay, now the hand push ones went north then?
Yeah.
And the pipe rail went across
Going
towards the east?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And
All right.
I'll tell you, it was a rough deal because they didn't have any relief people, you know.
You were there all day?
Oh, yeah, it was, I was on nights.
Night shift?
Practically everybody. And even people with more seniority, they had the choice which is a day work, you know.
Okay.
You take what's left.
So you had 2 shifts?
Oh yeah, they started
Yeah.
2 shifts. Actually, that's how we were hired, you know.
Mhm.
There was a bunch of us hired at that time
Okay.
with on a second shift.
Was
So-
was that a 9-hour day or an 8-hour day? Remember?
It was 8 hour.
8 hours.
8 hour.
And do you remember what you made? How much?
You know, money-wise,
Yeah. How much an hour?
50 cents.
50 cents an hour.
50 cents an hour. I
All right.
didn't get up to 75 till I was transferred into axle plant.
All right.
That was, as a matter of fact, in 1936, actually that was the bigger year than they had.
Yeah.
They start making control arms, you know, and all
All right.
that, with the stampings and all
Mhm.
that. So they were start talking about 36 cars an hour, you know.
Oh. Increasing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they'll never do it. They'll never do it. But they added on one at a time, a little bit here and there. By the year out, we were doing all of that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And of course, I remember starting at 5 in the afternoon, and we didn't get out till 6 following morning.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
A long night.
No, a long night, but we got, of course, we got a little extra pay for it, but not a heck of a lot, I'll tell you that. But at that time, any work was something.
Where was the employment office? You must have went through that at that time, didn't you? When you hired in?
Well, employment office was it still in building 60.
Okay.
Down.
In the kind of the basement?
Yeah, it was in the basement or first floor. I don't know.
Yeah.
There was the first aid or a hospital.
All right.
Right there.
That was all together?
All together. I remember, I think Dr. Gunther or something like that was the first one.
Was the physician?
Yeah. But through my dad, I got to know a little more than anybody else. You know, because Dad worked there for a long time, and they knew the supervision, you know, and all that. So it was made a little easier for me to get along than hiring strange.
Yeah. Yeah. You may have even, had you been in the plant? Had he brought you in the plant before?
No. When we were hired, it was a bunch of us at that same time. So they just took us like army, you know, from work over there, and they turned us over to foreman, you know. I think the first foreman I worked was Archie.
Archie?
I don't know.
Whatever. Archie's last name.
Archie. He was a big fellow.
How did he handle people? How did he?
No, just there was no break-in or anything. Just take you in. This is it, right there. This is what you do.
Okay.
You know. And
did he get? Was he a bull of the woods kind of crack the whip, or how did he?
Well, they had superiority over, you know. And like I said, it's kind of hard to get a job at that time, so you do what they tell you to.
Sure.
You know, no kickback or anything. You just do it.
Was the union there then?
No, the union wasn't there. I tell you, that was they had an upper hand on you.
Yeah.
You can't complain.
Yeah.
Do it, and that's it.
Okay. Then how long did you stay there working in the assembly area?
Well, about a 36, I know that. When we came back on 37 model, went to that whole bunch that hired in at that time, went to 21 axle plant.
All right.
Because when parts and service moved out of 2178, then they put in that first automatic line.
For the actual assembly?
No, for car assembly.
Oh, for car assembly?
Yeah.
Okay.
They brought in the frame was stored right in that area. Let's see, that would be south of 21.
Out in that frame yard area?
Yeah.
Okay.
The railroad right there.
Yeah.
So they brought that. And then they bring in right there through that 21 door, that big door, you know.
Did haul those in on a truck or something?
Yeah, they just go out there, men go out there, strong men, you know. They load them on the trailer, these four-wheel trailers, you know, and they push them by hand, or they have the tractor haul them in there. A lot of times they come in, they're half covered with snow, you know.
Oh my goodness.
And but they would have a couple, three of them in that area where they start in, And so it don't take long for snow to melt. And by the time I was still doing what I was doing on the pipe routes, tightening the U-bolts.
All right. But they had now an overhead conveyor or something, or was it on the floor?
It was on the floor.
All right.
On the floor. So there was no. I tell you, a lot of times when I get through pushing those on things, hands would be
black.
They were numb.
Oh.
Oh, but because your frame by that time gets pretty heavy.
Yes.
You have to push the doggone thing, and it takes a lot of manpower to do it. So I spent all that year, 36 there, and then from there I went to work for Pratt in axle plant.
Okay. Now the axle plant had just been put in there.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the foreman was, general foreman was Kelly.
Okay.
And of course, Fred LaPratt was a foreman, and there was a few others. Each group had its own leader.
Okay. Well, what did you have in the axle plant? What were we making there then?
Well, where I started in was a control arm.
Okay.
And the first, they had a casting. Then they drilled holes in there and then the following year, I think they started stamping.
Okay.
And I think that was the first year that they put in. They took out the springs,
the big heavy front I-beam axle.
Yeah. And use a coil spring.
Oh yeah, the independent front wheel suspension.
Yeah. But
so there was the machining of the front, like the knuckles and the knuckle supports and those kinds of things going on there.
Yeah, there was all of that, and even the stampings, they had to be machined,
Did they have presses in there then too?
Yeah, they had presses and.
How about rear axle things?
Well, the rear axle that was manufactured someplace around 38, just next door to 40 there.
Down in the engine plant area.
In that area, but in between there, there was a
36 or 38.
Somewhere in there.
Okay.
Like I said, we never roam around.
Yeah.
We just go where
right
to your work and get out and go home, and that was it. And but they were brought in over there on the big trailers, the axles,
Yeah.
And
was the plating plant there then? Yeah.
No, they put that in around 47, 48 somewhere.
Oh, okay. After the war.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because that whole area, 2178 and all that, was nothing but just storage for, because they had to clear for war production ammunition and stuff like that.
What were you doing then in the axle plant, John? What was your job?
During the war, you mean?
No, during 36 or 37, whenever that was.
Well, I was working in assembling the plate where the springs set in, like that. And
how was that assembled?
Well, the arm had holes, and then there was a big heavy plate that bolted on to the arm itself.
So it was a bolting job.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you have fixtures, or how
well,
was that
it was just a simple fixture. You put couple arms in, you know,
Yeah.
then put the plate in,
Yeah.
and then bolts and tighten them.
Yeah. And then what would you got all the parts, it was a one-man operation, sort of?
Well, there was left and right, you
Yeah.
know, so I was on one, and there was another on another one, and, you know.
Yeah.
But it was all together, you know.
What happened to the part when you got done with it?
Well, we put it on a roller conveyor, and then, you know, stack them up,
Yeah.
and push them on down to the other guy further on, where they do something else, and they put these rubber
Okay.
grommet or
The big bushing-like thing
yeah,
in there?
it was a pretty good size
Yeah.
rubber thing. And then it goes, it kept going around, it's pretty well machined, you know,
And it was handled on roller conveyor?
yeah, yeah, just pushed, they had flat sheet metal band where you put those things on,
Right.
and then they just keep pushing.
Yeah.
There's no automation
Yeah.
at all.
How did the parts come to you?
Well, they come in, well, mostly in guns.
All right.
And,
So you were kind of the starting person, the first
yeah,
person
in,
there.
in that, and then there was a head of, before our operations, they were putting in these little grommets or something in that plate where
Okay.
the things, where the screen sat,
All right.
for some other thing to go in,
Okay,
you know.
sure, sure. Okay, then what? How long did you stay working in that area?
I'd say it was about 2 years.
All right. Doing the same sort of thing?
Yeah, yeah. I got to, so you know just exactly how to do it. In other words, a funny thing about it, you know, they say, well, you got to do so many an hour.
Yeah.
But by the time in a year or a month, you know, you could go almost twice as much.
Oh, all right.
Because you know how to operate the thing. And and then another thing was you have to go work ahead, so you could go and have a smoke.
Yeah, because you had no relief person, you said?
No, not there.
So if you had to go to the bathroom or something?
Oh, well, that's where you do few ahead, you know, and so you could go. Of course, at that time, there was no smoking.
In the plant?
In the plant at all, anywhere.
No. What did people do?
Well, like I said, I like to say, we go in the toilet, you know.
Yeah.
They used to have one there, winding stairs, you know.
Okay.
And then they segregate there, you know. Must be 10, 15 of them in there.
People
You
would
light
just
up and smoke.
up in the john.
And then, there'd be one guy watching down with the police should come, the fire protection.
Kind of guarding.
Yeah. So when he sees one coming, everybody's just as nice and the place where you reek with smoke.
Yeah.
Nobody smoking.
No, nobody's smoking here.
Yeah. Once in a while they got so they could open the window, you know.
Yeah, and let it blow out.
Let it blow out,
Yeah.
but that, you'd never do it. As many guys are smoking, you know. But that's the only, it's the only way you get by, you know.
What about lunches? And did people bring their lunch? Or
Yeah.
Or was there cafeterias?
No cafeterias. That cafeteria started after the war.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was over there by motor plant, someplace up above there. But up
You
to
didn't
that,
have one up in the axle plant or that end of the assembly plant?
No, there was nothing. You bring your own. Nah, nothing. A little later on, they put in Coke machine and coffee machine.
Oh, all right.
just a little cubby hole there by the offices. And just, so actually you can have no relief at all. You just, when you have to go, you just, later on, they just what they call keyhole. They let a couple frames.
Oh, I see.
go
Let a space
by,
go by. So
by.
people, okay.
Keep right. You have to wait till it gets to you, and you go. And a lot of times you really have to run because we're just about close to 75 yards from the toilet, so you don't dilly-dally.
Yeah.
You just run and get it over with and come back and ready to start in again.
Yeah. Where were the offices, the actual offices?
They were pretty well the same where they are, or the list over there.
In that area between the...
20 or 21 or 20 and 21.
Okay.
In there.
Yeah.
It wasn't too many over there. It's just, I think it was one. Foreman, and maybe general foreman, and a clerk, and that was the office.
Was there a first aid in that area, or any kind of those things?
Well, they put that in later.
All right.
There was a man and women toilet in there.
That was there in the 30s?
No, not in 1930. That was just all men.
That was
there
all
was no women. No women. Then just a little space there.
Yeah.
What they call first aid. So if you got a little sliver or something, you go in and have it done, and that's it.
Okay.
Then from then, I went to, they transferred a whole bunch of us to parts and service.
Oh.
I don't know how they managed it, but it's the same group that went in at a certain time to the assembly line or beginning shop work and all, and the same bunch went to parts and service.
All right.
And that was heaven, I think.
that must have been like, what, 38 or something? 30? Or is that too early?
Well, that was a little too early. I think I was still working in axle plant.
Okay.
When the war started.
Oh, all right. So, okay. So you were in the axle plant when the war started?
Yeah.
All right.
And from there, it was about 47, 48 when we went to parts and service.
What did you do during the war?
It wasn't very, very long since, it's kind of hard to, when they shut down car production.
Okay.
I think it was just about that time when we got 41, 42, and then they start expanding on engineering, product engineering or production engineering.
Yeah.
In where we were 40, building 40 up above in there.
Yeah.
And by some chance, I got in plant layout.
Okay.
And Henry Summers was the first boss.
All right.
Yeah,
I remember Henry.
He was he was going blind. And
he had very heavy glasses, as I remember.
Yeah. And so he was the first boss, and I know he interviewed me, and how would I do this if you had something to do, a particular job, you know. And
No, Johnny, just, this was before or after the parts and service thing?
after the parts.
Okay, in the parts and service area, where were you and what were you doing?
Well, mostly, you know, they used to wrap bumpers, you know, for shipping.
Okay.
And that was the only thing that I was the beginning of the parts and service, is to wrap bumpers and tie them up.
Uh-huh. So they wouldn't get damaged.
Yeah, yeah, for shipping.
Where was that being done?
Building 26 on the second floor.
All right.
We had the second floor, and the third floor was storage, you know, parts.
Okay.
Because that parts and service took over where Fisher Body had.
Oh, all right.
See, Fisher Body had, I told you about 21, 77, and all that 26.
Okay.
All that was Fisher Body.
All right.
And that's where they were.
When they moved out, went over to the Durant plant.
Yeah.
Then the
yeah,
parts
yeah.
and service department took that over.
Took over from
All right.
that. So.
Just a second. Did you ever get? I probably asked you this. Did you get up in the body plant at all? What they were doing in the body plant when it was there?
No.
You mentioned they were painting or something on the second floor. Had sanding booths or something on the second floor. Where did they?
They were all out of there when parts and service, when I got down there.
Okay, but before that, when you were working in the assembly side, do you know where they did the woodworking, and if didn't they still have wood that they were using in bodies a lot, or was that all sheet metal at that point in time?
I think that was all sheet
all
metal.
Sheet metal?
Yeah,
okay.
metal, everything.
They'd gotten out of the wood.
Yeah.
Okay. But they did all the assembly work right there, the assembling the sheet metal?
Yeah.
For the body?
Just everything the motors were hauled from over the motor plant on the big heavy trailers, you know, and that's where they put them on the monorail, and just a short route.
Yeah.
And then they were dropped down to the chassis, and
okay. Well, okay. So anyway, you spent your time in parts and service in kind of the wrapping sort of activities?
Yeah. That was a good place to work at that time, I tell you, because it's all day, you know, and
nice and quiet.
Nice and quiet. Nobody. You do your work, you know. Even then, you know, the foreman says, "Now you got to do so many."
Okay.
But you have to work for a while, you know, to cut the corner. We could do over the production, you know.
Yeah. There was no incentive pay, was there, for doing more?
No, okay. no. You're just there, so per hour, and that's. I think that was a time when actually I got up to 75 cents an hour.
Oh, wow!
In Maxwell plant, and when we transferred to.
Okay.
And then, you know, that was good money then.
Yeah.
Because I know when I got married in 35.
Okay.
And I think I was giving her $5 for a week of groceries, you know. I tell you, we were living like kings, you know. We had T-bone steaks once or twice a week, you know, and all that.
So relatively speaking, that was a good wage. That
Well, it was good wage. It
Uh-huh.
was, I don't know how much, I don't think even the supervision was much higher than that. But what was that? Damn good work. I mean, good pay.
Yeah.
Any work was a good.
Sure. Now, I forgot to ask you about John. The union came in sometime in the 30s. Were you there when that happened?
Yeah, I was. Let's see. I think I was in the. When they had that holiday, you know,
Yeah, up in Flint.
holiday.
Yeah.
I think I was working for Parts and Service.
Okay. What happened at the plant?
Well, I I really don't know how. I didn't get into an organization, but in Parts and Service, we didn't have to belong to union.
You didn't?
No, at that time.
All right.
But nevertheless, that particular afternoon, they come around, quit working, go home.
Send everybody home.
Everybody home. And that was, they call it labor holiday, I guess, or something like that. And then they had a rally. They tried to, they went out to East Lansing, and tried to get the students to cooperate, but they wouldn't do it. So the union guys on one side of the Red Cedar, and you know where that road that went along the Red Cedar there from, and they were there with clubs.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, they went in and started closing the stores in East Lansing, you know. And I guess they chased them out of there. Threw some of them in the Red Cedar, you know. Then they knew that they meant business, you know. They wouldn't have nothing to do with union. But that's what it was. They just told us go home. And
Did you participate in any of those activities?
No. I think after a while we were forced, you know, to company said, well, you got to belong to union, whether you want it or not, because they deducted your dues and everything from so. So actually, I was in union till 1 to 40. Then we didn't have to. So I just.
Did the people want to join the union generally?
Oh, there was some, you know. There was some radicals, you know. Some really made big issue of it. That I'm a union member, you know, and all that. So I don't know. At times they did some good, you know.
Sure.
Because up to that time, there was if a foreman, supervisor likes you, well, you're all right. Others, you know, like a lot of guys from the farm used to work in there. There was a little bit of hanky-panky going on, you know. Like bring in a couple dozen eggs.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
They were kind of selling things on the shop floor?
Oh, yeah. That was a favor, you know. So. I just, it's, well, when the union got in, they kind of restrict all that, you know. They try to stick to seniority.
All right.
They respect the work that you do, and instead of gifts and all that, you know. So it did some good to the extent there's some good and some bad. You know.
Like
when they say come in and start timing a job, you know. you know how they are. They kind of take it easy, you know.
Yeah.
And one time was in, they could really
Go like that.
Go like mad,
Yeah.
and then they sit around
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
going down. Then, of course, at that time, they start the designated area for smoking and
Oh.
break, what they call
Okay.
break period, you know.
That's when you got people that would then relieve you and
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
mhm. Okay. Did the cafeterias and those kinds of things start to happen then too?
Yeah, they had one for the area axle plant and parts and service and
Yeah.
all that. Was in '77. They just had a little canteen, as
Yeah.
they call it, you know.
Yeah.
But you could get coffee and
Mhm.
sandwich and.
Mhm.
I remember. You recall Don Burnham?
Sure.
He was a regular guy. He'd come over and look at you, that looks good. Let's go and get it.
Uh-huh.
And he'd come and get his sandwich, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, they give bigger portion than,
Oh.
and you sit there and talk. And,
Right amongst the guys.
right there, you know. So it went pretty good that time till I went to 40.
Yeah.
40.
Yeah. Did
But-
you ever see a time study guy out in the plant in the early days? Were those kinds of guys around?
I don't think they were. I don't think that they were.
Okay.
They would just say, "Well, this is the work that you got to do now.
All right.
That's it."
Mm-hmm.
I used to remember Foreman Paul George. I don't think you.
Oh, I remember Paul George.
Did you?
Gravel Voice George.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He was a kind of rough character, you know,
Mhm.
and the story he says, you know, when they bring in a young guy, for him to work now. You know, it was under him that they worked underneath the car, you know,
Yeah.
the bumper
In the
and all that.
pits, kind of.
In the pit,
Yeah.
yeah. So you find out how many kids you have, you know, how the family, you know.
Yeah.
So if you got a bunch of kids, you know, you go down there because you know that you're gonna work there.
Yeah.
Because you know you're gonna stick, because a lot of guys that they'll work there till they finally get around to get something a little more
Yeah.
civilized, I suppose, you know.
It's a tough job down there.
Oh, it is. It used to be real tough, I guess. But they somehow they work it. I don't know how, but evidently, like I said, you know, there's some guy, some of the work that you could go ahead. Maybe they have 3 or 4 guys in there.
Yeah.
Well, 2 guys or 3 guys will do the work for the 4th while he's gone
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
have a smoke or
Sure. Go to the
toilet.
toilet, yeah.
Yeah. But that's the way it
Yeah.
went on until later, until it was mandatory that you have a relief. You have 15 minutes, I guess, each in the morning, and same thing in the afternoon.
Okay. Now you said you came into plant layout after the war.
Well, starting at the beginning, no, after Pearl Harbor.
Okay,
You know,
in the war,
shortly
during the
after,
war.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
And what did you end up having to do in the layout department then?
Well, the first layout department was in 60, up above in building 60, engineering
Oh,
building.
64.
64, yeah.
Okay.
And while we were in there, up there, doing just I don't know, various jobs, you know.
War work related though?
Well, at that time they were kind of getting things in shape, and building 40 was under renovation there.
Oh, okay.
Because I think,
Is that when we put the second floor, filled in the hole?
yeah, that, and then they had actually tool and die storage in there. Stores stores.
Oh, up on the second floor?
Yeah, they were towards the north end, and layout was towards the south end there.
Okay.
And of course they fill in the hole, and then they brought in plant engineering in there, then the rest of the
Okay. So you guys,
methods in there.
you guys were in the auditorium, so to speak, or Building 64 for that period while they were doing the construction work?
Yeah.
Okay. And then after they got the building done, did you move back?
Yeah, we moved in the way it was probably when you come in, you know.
You were kind of in the middle, layout was in the middle there?
Yeah, yeah. Then they took the model board on one side of the aisle and the actual the drafting on.
What area were you working on in the plant, John?
Yeah, I had a hand just about everything in there. I worked in what they call articulator rod, you know, airplane. That was done where a motor plant in there. And,
what did that thing look like? The part, do you remember?
well, it took about 4 or 5 broaches to machine down, and
Was
well,
it
they're just like a
connecting rod? It looked like a connecting rod, a car?
Yeah, well, just a rod, I suppose.
Was it big?
Well, it was a pretty good hunk of metal, you know, but they were so particular on there can't be a scratch or anything.
Perfect.
Got to be perfect. And then they had same place almost was they call bazooka.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I laid out the manufacturing of that doggone thing.
Okay.
The machinery and all that, because it had to go through and then goes through the heat treatment, come back and start again, you know, and
all right.
End up. Then.
Now that was all done down in the engine plant too?
Yeah,
maybe
in that area, in that.
Towards the east side of the plant?
Yeah, yeah. But
was that all done by hand, pretty much, John? Hand push things for the rocket, or was there conveyors?
That was well, that was they put in the monorail where the broaches were. They come in because there was so many different operations. They had trouble of distinguish between what's finished and what's being. Each broach will do a certain part, and it goes to the next, certain. And
you were using the same rack kind of that they were carrying material in?
Yeah. Then they thought that we had to come up with something to separate the certain operation to the next operation. And this, what the heck is this bazooka? That was kind of ticklish deal too, you know. I had to be everything perfect.
Did you have a lot of government people around at that time?
Well, they had the inspection.
That was done by government?
By government.
Oh, okay.
And the rest is just the same people that
the regular
supervision,
the regular Oldsmobile people.
Yeah. Then from there, then they brought in 38. They're making these big bullet-like
cannons. The cannons.
Well, they weren't cannons. Where I was just ammunition part.
Oh, the shell.
The shell. It's a good size.
Couple inches in diameter, sort of?
It wasn't even that, inch and a half.
Okay.
It just looked like a bullet. Then they had let's see, what did they have? They had a proof range, testing range.
Okay.
Right in front of 38 over the fence.
Underground.
Underground. That was all done underground.
Did you get into that thing?
You mean inside?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I got into it. You know, those guys, they said, no, you could look at them when they fire, testing. Some of those guys, they said, put your eyes right close to that glass, and I'll tell you that really raise you right to the roof.
Is that right?
Oh,
really loud.
Loud, yeah. Then I also put in some...
John, back to the testing range. How many guns did they shoot down there at a time? Just one? Or did they have several?
No, they had several in there. They had several testing,
kind of like cells or...
Yeah, something like that. And...
what did they shoot against at the other end?
Oh, they had stuff, I don't know what it was, but they had something.
They were shooting into something over
something in there. I never went back there.
Yeah. Okay.
Then I had a part in these Navy guns, that they were doing over there in 50, or next to, just beyond 34.
Oh, okay. 37. Building 37?
Yeah.
The big cannons?
Yeah, the Navy long...
But the cannon?
Cannon, yeah.
That was 105 millimeter or something?
Something like that. They made several different things. Working there...
No, that was... We machined parts in there?
Yeah. They had the regular bring in
the tube, the big long tube.
And then they machined the doggone thing.
Yeah.
Ready to fire.
And so they had a lot of lathes in there?
Oh yeah, the whole entire area was lathes.
Mm-hmm. Was there some kind of seems like I remember a big vertical tank of some kind that they put those barrels in. Was there a tank in there? Like a hole in the ground that we put those things in for some reason?
I don't, unless it was, I was part in the machining part.
You were the
of it
machining
in there.
side, all right.
Yeah. I don't know what they did on the other end. It was something else.
Okay.
But then they, from there, they would wrap them, oil them and wrap them and ship them out.
Okay.
And, so that was just about, say, the last war job that I was in on it.
All right.
Then, of course, right after that, the war was over, and they had their and it's quite a deal after the war was over, that everybody, the whole Lansing was just, everybody was downtown. They were hooped that up, and really everybody was really have a high up time.
Okay, then what did you, after the war got over, then where did you end up working? What kinds of things were you doing then?
Well, I see by working in axle plant with car manufacturing.
Yeah.
So I stayed right there.
Still in the layout department, though.
In the layout, yeah, yeah. And
so what kinds of things were going on out in the plant at that point in time?
Well, they were just trying to bring everything together, like Building 21, That was just stuff that machine, and everything that you could imagine.
They had just been
all
stored
in there.
Stored there during the war?
Yeah.
Okay.
And when then they start layout, getting ready for car production.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after that, then they come up with these layout like that picture you saw.
Yeah, the 3D board?
3D board, you know.
Prior to that, what were you working on? Just the flat ones?
Yeah, just there wasn't any board, it was just on paper, you know.
It was all paper?
All paper.
Okay.
They would cut out templates, you know, and set them on paper, and then of course 3D idea. I don't know who brought that, evidently from somebody. I don't know, most likely I would say maybe Chevy that come up with something like that, or but we come up with these boards, you know, scribe them to make quarter square, you know, squares. They made a lot of, and then of course we got these other like conveyors, showing the conveyor, and then the model shop came in the picture. They made machines, you know.
Okay. So you started with the big flat, like boards that were just scribed with the 1/4-inch squares.
Yeah, yeah.
And templates on them.
Yeah.
Like the machine.
Templates, yeah. Then till model shop come in, then they start making.
Okay.
And then they got those brass thing to make conveyors.
The rails.
Rails.
When did the model boards themselves start to happen? Were they out there in the axle plant area that you were working in?
No. What do you mean?
Yeah. When did you start using the model board for the axle plant, or the area that you were responsible for?
I think the first thing that went on was I really don't know who was said that they wanted the entire plant.
Oh, so we decided to do the whole plant?
The whole plant.
Okay.
Then they would start making benches, you know, like where the goes. I don't know whose idea that was. I imagine it's everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I think Don Burnham was really. He liked that.
Did he?
Yeah, he liked that, and then they would make up, and then they had Wolfram up there, you know.
So you would use them for meetings?
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of times they would have entire floor where the model boards were. They would discuss that. It was something nice to talk about. It would give you a really good idea, because you could lay a bunch of templates, you know.
Sure.
And, it just doesn't give you any idea, but the models and the machine model, and, you know, it gives you a lot better idea where to go.
So you were out in the axle plant then initially, and then where did you kind of go from there, John?
Well, from there, let's see what. I took over. Then they put in a plating at the end of 21 and in that 78. Because I remember Del McCrae was a superintendent or heading up the thing. And
this was, now the plating plant went in after the war?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
do you know where the plating was done prior to that?
I think that was like the only plating that was there. Till they put up till they plant 2 jet plant.
Before they put in that new plating plant in building 78, where did they plate bumpers?
I really don't know where the heck where that was. They must have done someplace,
yeah.
But evidently it was just by hand deal with
tanks,
tanks
yeah.
and all that.
Okay.
But then for 1955 model, I guess they had trouble with Carl Schaub over there or something, you know. So I took his place over there, and of course I knew all those guys over there.
This was at plant.
Plant one, you know, 78
area.
78 in that area, and for 55 model I was put in over there.
Okay.
Carter was superintendent then.
That's Ray Carter.
Yeah. And all those guys, I knew practically all of them.
Yeah.
And it was nice to work with somebody, you know.
Yeah. Deltona, Florida, made on January 5th, 1989 by Jim Walkinshaw of the Oldsmobile History Center. This is tape number 2 of 2 tapes. Okay, back to the plant 1955 stuff.
Yeah, I took over, I guess, like I said, the trouble with getting along with Carl.
Yeah.
So I took over the entire plating and part of axle plant.
All right.
Area in there. And so I had entire plating and axle.
All right. What were we making in the axle plant at that point in time?
Well, still mostly armed, control arm, because that was done for entire GM plant.
Oh, were we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Then because they moved. Let's see. Then they moved some of that to where we were making guns, you know, Navy guns in that somehow they made, because we got so much to do. That was quite a few pieces to maintain.
A lot of arms,
And then they brought in to axle plant where they did the assembly. You know, put them together, and ship them out. So the plating was rather, Del McRae was superintendent, then at first, and then Ray Carter took over. He was a superintendent of axle plant and kind of over us plating too, you know.
Oh, he had the plating shop?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's that guy, I forgot his name. He became plant manager. Don, it seemed like Don somebody.
He was out in the axle plant area?
Well, he was a foreman there when I was working, so I got to know him real well. He got to be a foreman, then he became general foreman. Then from there, he actually went to be a plant manager. I think before, what's his name, that died of cancer.
Can't think who that is, Jim.
Plant manager?
Yeah, or who that would have been. I mean, I can think back through guys like Cordis and Rollis.
I think was Bob Rollis.
Okay.
Wasn't he?
He started.
I think he was a plant manager before this other.
You aren't thinking of Bob Mooney, are you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Bob Mooney never got the plant manager, did he?
No, he became general manufacturing manager.
Yeah.
But you're thinking the guy that was right out in the plant as the plant superintendent?
No, he was, but he eventually went up to be a plant manager. I mean, the entire.
Yeah, like Rollis was.
Yeah.
Let's see, who preceded Rollis?
I think that was Bob Rollis that he started an axle plant.
Could be.
Foreman, then general foreman, then from there he went.
Rollis came from Janesville, I know that. Janesville, Wisconsin. After the war.
Mm-hmm. It was after the war that they started.
Yeah. Okay.
So everything was really start booming at that time.
Yeah.
You know, everybody tried to outdo the other. You know,
Right.
Get the product on the road.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. Okay, so you were then working axle plant and plating in 55.
55 and. I don't recall, Jim, when I was transferred to Plant 2.
All right.
Under Dick Niles.
Okay.
I tell you, I didn't want it to go because I had everything just the way I wanted in axle plant and all in there. All I wanted is, whatever I wanted, I know where to go and get it, who to contact, and everything, and I had the deal of going with millwrights, if I want something.
Sure.
I could go, I know like, what's his name, Max Grimes.
Yes.
And he would say, I got a crew of men that I don't have any place to put them. Have you got anything? Well, I looked. There's always shop order open, and you always have something to do, something small, something big, and okay, send them over. I'll put them to work, But those are the things that really favor. If I wanted something from those guys, all I have to do is call and say, I would like to do this and that. And so everything was hunky-dory. Everything. Then I went to Dick Niles. He and Schad never got along together. So
was Carl over there?
Yeah, he was over there in 40,
Yeah. Now you went to Plant 2, you said?
Yeah, I Plant 2. As a matter of fact, Jim Logan called me in that I made all kinds of excuses not to go with it. Even though I Dick Niles, I knew Dick and all that. Yeah. But to leave something that you know and go over there and somewhere that you don't know nothing about, and the people, new people, and well, we got along all right.
So what was going on at Plant 2 when you got there?
Well, they had the new plating put in over there.
Oh, okay, this is
and
plant 3, plant
yeah.
3.
Oh, plant 3.
Yeah.
Plant 3,
Okay.
yeah.
So the new plating plant was there.
Yeah.
What, were we still making, no, we weren't making any jet engines.
No,
That was gone.
that was all cleared.
That must have been when we moved the axle plant stuff over there.
That was the axle plant movement over there.
Okay.
Because I was working on the axle shafts over there,
All right.
laying that out.
Do you remember about what year that was?
Well, let's see, I retired in 73, I think it was.
Okay.
So all up to that time, I was still in the axle plant.
At plant 3?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
at plant 3.
So that must have gone over there then in either the early 60s, maybe?
Well, that was pretty well underway when I got over there.
Was
There was
it?
nothing, layout. It was already there.
Okay.
But
You
getting things going,
Yeah,
model
keeping-
change
Yeah.
from one to another,
Right. All right. So what was being made then at plant 3? Can you remember kind of the sequence or the parts
Well-
of things that we were making?
Well, they were machining the axle shafts.
All right.
In there, they were stamped and heat treated over at plant 2,
Yeah,
and
torch.
brought over to plant 3, and here's where they were put in the where they heat them up, tempering and all that, and machining and ready to go to the assembly.
Hey, did they have knuckles over there?
No, they didn't have.
The front stuff wasn't there.
No,
Mhm.
no.
Okay. Crankshafts there?
Yeah, crankshaft was there. I didn't have much to do with that.
Okay.
I think a fellow named Raleigh,
Raleigh Harris.
Harris, yeah.
Yeah, Raleigh Harris.
He's the one that was crankshaft.
Okay.
And that was
And you
plating and
the
heat treated axle and all that in there.
Okay. Did we stamp out the bumper bars there?
Yeah. I took over that entire area, stamping, and because I remember when they decided to put in automation, the bumper from one press to another, continuous, and I was. They had a bunch of those doggone rails, so
Yeah.
had to be set up. Bob Scott, he was always after me. Now you ought to do this, you ought to do that, and it worked out,
Yeah.
It worked out.
Yeah.
They finally got the doggone thing going, We're stamping one, automatically transferred to another, then a stamp there, and just keep going till it's a finished product, and take it to the plating. No, but that's where I finished up with it.
Did we, during that time in the plating area, did we make any changes in the plating plant that you can remember, John?
Well, the only thing, the procedure was the same, but each time, each different change in the shape of the bumper or something like that would mean something, because I put in these automatic buffing machines over there, the dial things. I put those in.
Now, before those, people were doing it all by hand?
Yeah, they had rail. It's a flat top,
Yeah, like a conveyor?
Just giving each guy would do certain.
The bumper would flow by him, and he would kind of grind away on it.
Yeah. One
Okay.
would take off rough edges, you
Yeah,
know, and all
yeah.
that.
And then they put in the big dial machines?
And there was 2 dial machines.
Okay.
I know I had put those in.
And those were supposed to do it automatically?
Yeah, yeah. But they worked out pretty good.
Did they?
Yeah, worked out real good.
See,
What's
the,
that?
you mentioned Bob Scott was, let's see, was he the superintendent?
He
or-
was superintendent over there. I knew Bob Scott even before
Mhm.
when he was just a common man, you know.
Mhm.
We used till he took over, and then I went with him when time come to how we gonna get bumpers from here to assembly line,
Mhm.
plant 1, you
Mhm.
know. So we come up with a thing, a big truck, you know, with
Oh.
plywood in
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
just keep 'em
Piling?
piling on
Mhm.
in there, so in such a way so that they won't hit and
Mhm.
each other and transfer from plant 3 to plant 1, you know.
A lot of pressure to have no damage, so you wouldn't have any damage on the
No,
car?
because they would put they would put plywood on the ends,
All right.
and then cardboard paper between layers.
All
you
right.
know, where
So nothing sat on anything?
no, evidently worked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Then they come up with this 3-piece bumper, you know. That,
Mm-hmm.
I come up with these wood pigeonholes, you know.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
so that was all my idea,
Mhm.
you know. Any time you come up with something that doesn't take a lot of wood or a lot of paper and
Yep.
handling, you know,
Mhm.
it's good.
What do you think was the most significant thing that happened during all that time you were working there?
Really, Jim, you just go ahead and as things come up, you just go ahead and do it. You know, I mean, you come up with something. You just can't say I can't do it, because if you can't do it, they get somebody that will
It
do
will,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's one of those deals. You come up with something.
Mhm.
There's always something that you never thought of that would do it. Just like I said, you know, when I started to work, there was 30 cars an hour, you know, and I say, well, next year we're going to do 36. No,
Mhm.
no, you cannot do it. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
But they cut down on operation here and there, you know, and they put in additional guys here and there. Well, we were
You did
go
it.
right along,
Yes, you
just
did
like
it.
nothing.
Yep. What, can you remember any of the major problems of the era that we might have had that had to get solved? Typical kinds of things?
I think probably the thing that required some thinking was this environmental thing, you know, like OSHA or
Yeah,
something
OSHA,
like that,
yeah. Mhm.
that you have to have so many drinking fountains, so many toilets, so
Mhm.
many stools and all that for people to accommodate you.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, something new comes up, like this heat-treated axles. You know, they come up with a outfit there that goes right through one. They just load up and
Mhm.
goes up,
Mhm.
comes up on the other end. It's already done, ready for the machining and all
Sure,
that. You know,
yeah.
So things are, at first you think there's something great. Yeah, I mean almost impossible to
Mhm.
make it. But you keep at it, keep at it, and it'll come out.
Mhm.
I know that in Plant 3, there was mostly women that were handling those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were the one that they had these heat treated axle, you know,
Mhm.
they put them in a
Mhm.
machine, you know, by the time one is heated, she was putting the other one away. By the time she takes
Mhm.
take one and then put the other one in, you know, it just it's unbelievable, you know.
Yeah. When did you start to see a fair amount of women in the plant?
After the war.
The war.
After the war.
Uh-huh.
I remember they brought in they brought them in just like they brought us, you
Sure.
know,
Yeah.
in bunches, you know.
Yeah.
And evidently the foreman, they didn't go through them, show them where everything is, you
Mhm.
know, where cafeteria was,
Yeah.
and where toilet was, you
Mhm.
know, and all that. And I know a lot of times you go in and there's a woman wandering in men's toilets, you know.
Lost. Yeah,
It's stuff like that.
Mhm.
But it's always turned out all right.
Mhm.
If you just don't get heated over stuff like that, you know, it just actually things like that happens right
Mhm.
along.
Tell me about Henry Summers.
Well, he was practical.
Okay.
He was good, you know. He was a good man and all that. I mean, he understood because he said during that time he was from the old school. Put
Okay.
it that way.
Yeah.
He was nothing just ordinary, you know. He was just like the rest of us. Get it done.
Yeah.
How you do it, that's up to you, but get it done.
Now he came from the layout area and went to packaging, or was packaging part of layout at that time?
No, he wasn't packaging. He was
Okay.
he was layout all as far as
Alright.
I know, till he got so that he could not
Yeah.
see well enough
Couldn't see good.
to.
Yeah.
Then I guess they did put him most likely packaging just to
Yeah.
get what they call special assignment.
Yeah.
And it was just about the last,
Yeah.
at the end of the line.
Yeah. Who else was in the department at that time, John, when you were there then?
You mean in supervision?
No, in just guys like, was Carl Shop there at that time?
Oh, Carl Schock, he was about the same time I was,
Mhm.
maybe a day or so before me.
All right.
Then,
See, I
I don't
remember-
know whether you remember Fred Twist.
I remember the name is all.
He had a future ahead of him.
Yeah.
He was a likable fellow, tall, big,
Yeah,
blonde, you know.
yeah.
When he dresses up, he looks like $1 million.
Yeah.
I guess Don Burnham thought that he was
Mm-hmm.
the man to put him on supervision, you know.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And because of his personality
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that. So he went and he got a job, give him a job as a foreman on a line somewhere.
Yeah.
And just like the rest of the guys, started running around with women, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that got him
Okay.
in trouble, and he finally, I think he divorced his wife.
Yeah, that's great.
Went-
Let's see, was Dave Cheney there?
Yeah, I worked with Dave Cheney,
Okay.
and of course George Frizzler I know Dave Cheney, he's, I think he was Seventh-day Adventist.
Could be, I don't know.
Yeah, he must have been, because he didn't believe in smoking, you know,
Okay, yeah,
and all that.
yeah.
But nevertheless, when we go out in a plant, he can have one, or he goes someplace, and so that no one sees him. He was kind of well, religious type,
yeah.
you know. Let's see, there was quite a turnover in
Was
there.
there?
Yeah.
Now, was the ceiling in Building 40 at that point in time? Or was it just open to the roof?
Beginning was open.
Okay.
Just, because we used to get so darn hot, we used to open up the skylight to get some air in there. Then it got so all that crud and stuff would get in, you know, fall in there. And, then they closed that up and put the ceiling in, and then they put air conditioning
Okay.
in.
Do you know when that would have, can you remember when that might have happened?
It had to be around 50, somewhere in that area.
Because by the time I got there, the ceiling was there.
Yeah, they did. Stu Rudder was a pusher on that.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Don, worked with Stu.
Don Marshall?
Marshall.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Then Stu Rudder, the one that he liked the idea of painting the columns different.
Different colors.
Different color,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay.
It did improve, you know. You just at least kind of keep your eyes off of one thing. All you see is then. Let's see. I was still there when Beeman was engineer, plant engineer. Yeah.
Okay. He was before Rasmussen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And who was ahead of him? Well, it kept switching. Of course, those are, you know, when you come to think that those guys were in age, you know.
Sure.
I was 32 when I was somewhere around 32.
Mm-hmm.
I was working in there because I know when the war come, Henry Summer came along and he says, well, this is it, you know, the last, there's no more F card, you know.
Yeah.
And, so you might as well start getting things together, so because you will be on the next batch to be drafted. And about 2 weeks after that,
that was
it was over.
That was it.
That was it.
Well, have we pretty well covered it, John?
Yeah, it was. Well, you know, you stop and think there's other things that that's a major portion of it. You go from one place to another and meet different people and who's working over the?
Nobody.
Nobody? That whole gang is gone?
All gone.
Huh?
All gone. Niles and Fowler and
well, I remember when Niles was, I worked with him in Plant 3.
But they're all retired and all gone. So nobody left.
Jim Logan and all?
All gone. He's retired. they're not dead, they're still alive, but they've all retired. Yeah. Everybody is.
Is that still in a just
No.
altogether different?
Altogether different. You wouldn't even recognize it, John. It's the plant layout department does not exist as you and I knew it. It was combined with plant engineering into what they call facilities engineering.
Oh.
And so the guys now do layout and plant engineering all together, so to speak. And
but they're still in the same group, or
they're
kind of
no. They moved. The plant now is not Oldsmobile. Oldsmobile is just the marketing side of it, selling cars now.
Uh-huh.
And so the facilities engineering for the plant is broken up into 3 or 4 sections. The engine plant has its own facilities engineers, and those guys reside in Building 40. The plant itself has facilities engineers for the buildings and those kinds of like a landlord.
Yeah.
Those guys are all over in Building 62.
62. Oh,
Yeah.
smokes.
And then the car assembly plant has its own facilities engineers, and those people are right out in the plant. And same with the press plant. And plant 3 and plant 2. Plant 2 now is making a car called the Reatta for Buick. It does the whole thing, body and everything.
The entire car.
The entire car is made, the low volume, it's a low volume car. So the actual plant is no longer, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So it has changed significantly from what you would remember.
You know, it's funny. I dream of being there from time to time.
Uh-huh.
No, not getting a
It
lot
still
of
comes back. Huh?
comes back.
Yeah.
Well, almost
Well,
39, almost 39
yeah,
years.
you had a lot of time there, so it's,
And I know a lot of time I was just even in Building 40, I could doing something over there.
yeah.
And most of the time, where I get a lot of parking, you know. I drive over there, park someplace, then I try to get back to the car. I don't know where I was, you know, lost.
Yeah.
And way